Now, video game movies, Hollywood's endless crusade of making a quick buck off a recognisable and popular title. A sub-genre of films that has given us some truly treasured cinematic moments. Oh god, no! Yeah, that's right, video game movies suck. A sad fact of life, but one we all must live with, for now. Much like living with the fact that this man is still in office. I mean, do you remember this? Or how about this? Or what about this cinematic gem? Blah. But today we're going to take a deep breath and plunge ourselves into the world of terrible to mediocre video game movies to take a look at 10 interesting facts about them. So if you had questions like, who holds the title of having directed the most video game film adaptations? What is the worst rated video game movie of all time? And 6 entries. 6 entries. I mean, how the hell did this terrible film franchise last for that long? I mean, they've been consistently terrible with every installment. They're just shite films. What is going on? 6 entries. I've had turds with more complex plots than this. Sorry about that. Number 1. There has been around 34 live-action film adaptations of video games. The first official live-action adaptation was released in 1993 in the form of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and it has been received incredibly well. Number 2. For a while, the Borefest that was Alone in the Dark held the record of having the lowest rated score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is probably the only achievement that film gained. Well, apart from being the dullest movie ever. Such a boring fucking film. But in 2010, that record was beaten by the Tekken movie, which currently holds a score of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. 0%. Currently, at the time of writing this, the highest rated video game movie is Detective Pikachu with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 70%. Not bad, Pikachu. You little fluffy gold digger, you. Ooh, it's number 3. By far the longest running franchise in live action video game movies is the Resident Evil films. 6 entries. 6 entries. The first film holds the highest rated audience score on Rotten Tomatoes with a 67%. The last film in the franchise, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, holds the record in the franchise for the most worldwide box office earnings. It's all about those dollar bills, yo. It's number 4. Speaking of dollar bills, y'all, the highest grossing live action video game movie is Rampage, raking in an impressive $400 million. People seem to really love The Rock, and giant gorillas, and flying wolves. The lowest is Postal, directed by everyone's favourite twat, which managed to only bring in $146,741. I got 5 on it. Oh, copyright strike. This delightful gentleman here is Uwe Boll, and apart from his famous and slightly offensive to camera rants, he's also famous for making the worst movies and boxing his critics. What a lovely bloke. But he also holds the title of having directed the most live action video game films, having directed 6 in total. They include House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, so boring, Blood Rain, Postal, In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. It's a classic. And Far Cry, which ironically is a far cry from anything that resembles a good movie. It's number 6. Hollywood hasn't held back when it comes to tapping into those big name recognizable video games. Some of those huge titles include Super Mario Bros., Mortal Kombat, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Doom, Silent Hill, Hitman, Far Cry, Max Payne, Tekken, Prince of Persia, Need for Speed, Assassin's Creed, Pokemon, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 7, baby. Number 7. Some other big name titles, however, have never been able to make it to the big screen, having been stuck in development hell or just been outright cancelled. Some of these include Halo, featuring Mr. Green Man with Blue Naked Lady, originally set to be produced by Peter Jackson and directed by Neil Blomkamp. Monkey Island, which was to be made by Steven Spielberg. Gears of War, which was set to be a trilogy of films. Fallout was considered for a film and even hired a writer for the script. Shadow of the Colossus has been floating around the ideas room at Sony Pictures for some time now, and a God of War film was being developed until the project was eventually dropped, and no more word about the project has been heard since. You wanna know a secret? It's number 8. Video game movies have a constant trend of including elements of the gameplay from the source material into the film. Assassin's Creed included many parkour moments, all of which are major staples in the Assassin's Creed games. Doom went all FPS on us by including an entire one-shot scene from a first-person perspective. Tomb Raider 2018 was clearly heavily inspired by the 2013 video game remake, and its many action scenes resembled those of the game. Silent Hill incorporated the game's bizarre and disorientating camera angles into the film, and the first Resident Evil movie, aside from being a live-action version of a survival horror game, also incorporated a three-dimensional map and a clear level design similar to that of a video game.
Good heavens, number 9.
So movies based on video games often fail. We all know that, but why? While there isn't really a one definitive explanation, many fans and critics have often cited that these films suffer from a lack of understanding of the source material, a lack of commitment to a proper budget. The films often strip down elements of the original games, causing its adaptation to become an empty imitation of the original thing. Lack of cooperation between the movie studios and the original game developers, and of course the game developers themselves being largely inexperienced with structuring a story for film.
I say, old chap, it's number 10.
Probably the video game movie that was given the most attention to detail and paid respects to its source material, excluding Detective Pikachu because I haven't seen it yet, is the Silent Hill movie. No, not that one. This one. The director of that movie, Christoph Gans, attempted to gain the rights to make the film for 5 years, being a fan of the original series and even expressing to the guys at Konami during an interview how important the games were to him. Gans tried to recreate the visual look of the games into the film, right down to even the color grading. Iconic creatures from the games were also brought into the film, but were also given an actual reason for being there, having been tied to the character of Alessa. Gans even brought in the original composer of the games to compose the score for the film and even remaster some iconic tracks from the series. Well, there you go, 10 facts about video game movies. So come on then, what is that one video game movie that you know is so bad but you just love it anyway? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you like this and you'd like to see more, then please do consider subscribing to our channel. We've got a bunch of new ideas for shows on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on them. But thanks for watching, guys.